If you go to China and you see what has happened in China over the last 40 years, you will see that the Communist Party is respected and it is trusted in China. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that China's communist government is not without its problems. Every government in the world has problems, including China's, including America's. That's not the issue right here. What we need to look at is we need to look at China from the lens of a Chinese person. Let me give you some valuable perspective. Let's imagine that you are a grandmother or a grandfather in China today. Now, you would have seen China in some of the darkest days in history. You would have lived through the Cultural Revolution. You would have lived through the Great Leap Forward, and you now see a much more prosperous China. Let's imagine that you're a mother or father, middle-aged and in China right now. Probably as a child, you didn't have much, but now you have much greater opportunities, and you're very optimistic about the future of your country because you've been able to experience firsthand this incredible rise of China becoming the second largest economy in the world. Now finally, let's imagine that you're a college student or even a young child, someone even younger, let's say below the age of 12. The only thing that you've experienced in China is a prosperous and rising China. So again, we have to stop looking at China from these American lenses. We have to stop saying, well, China doesn't have freedom of speech, therefore it can't be a legitimate government. Well, China doesn't have the right to protest. Its citizens are actually slaves. Stop looking at things from an American or Western point of view. Put yourself in the shoes of Chinese people. If you are that grandmother, that mother, that college student, that young child, and you look at China from that perspective, you will be able to see China and its government in a very different light. Now let's go back to that previous article that highlighted the many possibilities of the Sino-American relationship moving forward. And again, one of the options that the author listed here is mutual accommodation. Now, if many of you, if you've been following this channel, you know very much that I am passionate both about the country of America and China. And definitely, mutual accommodation, learning to work together, mutual respect is what is needed between these two countries. The world is large enough for both the United States and China to win, and most importantly, if the two countries can learn to work together, this is how the world is going to move forward. But the biggest thing that we have to change for America, we have to get rid of this idea that we need to change China. Now, many of you who are watching this, you might be thinking, Cyrus, you're taking too much of a pro-China stance. You are not supporting America. You are not supporting your government. But let me just be really honest with you right now. Do you know how much it hurts to be an American citizen and to look at your country and to see it collapsing right in front of you right now? America has so many problems that we need to look at, but all we're focused on is trying to change China. But why do we want to change China? Because we want to be number one in the world. Let's just face the reality. China's population is 4 times that of America. China will inevitably become the world superpower. That's okay. We don't always have to be number one because China still respects America. China still wants to have a trade relationship with America. Chinese parents still want to send their kids to an American university. There are so many positive, things that are happening in America. It's not like America is going to collapse if we drop down to number 2. But the problem is that America's government and our way of life is declining tremendously right now. Look at the problems that are happening in America right now. Crime is increasing across the United States. Racial inequality, probably it's been its worst time in the last 60 years. Incarcerations are increasing. Our education system is getting worse. Poverty is increasing. There is so many areas of America that needs to improve, and our politicians have become obsessed with trying to change China. And it really hurts me right now as an American. Because I do love my country. I'm incredibly grateful for being born in the United States of America. I'm incredibly grateful for growing up in the state of Florida and going to school and being educated in America. I had a wonderful life growing up in America. But now that I've been abroad for 14 years, it really pains me to see the status of my home country. Do you know what it feels like to be an American citizen and to have your 76-year-old mother call you and say the best thing that you ever did in your life, Cyrus, was to leave this country? How do you think that makes me feel as an American? How do you think it makes me feel when your 76-year-old mother a few months ago calls you and says, I've had to purchase a handgun because I do not feel safe in my own home anymore? These are the real issues that are pressing Americans right now. But again, our politicians are absolutely obsessed with trying to change China. Changing China and a government that is supported by over 90% of the people. They're just so obsessed with taking down China that they fail to see America, the house that they live in, literally on fire. Now everybody, you can see that from today's video, I'm speaking passionately. I'm speaking from my heart because I genuinely want America to succeed. But I just don't see how that's going to be possible if we fail to look at ourselves in the mirror and we fail to address the issues that we have domestically. I feel that we are so concerned with trying to maintain our status as number one that we will do anything we can to try to take down China. Meanwhile, what does China do? Does China care that America is a democracy? Absolutely not. Does China care about any other form of government in the world? Absolutely not. China's focus is inwardly. China wants to improve its country and, for the betterment of its citizens. That's literally what China has been doing for the last 40 years. And they've been doing it extremely well. So instead of actually, wanting to change China, why don't we actually try to learn a little bit from China? Why don't we learn to build some great relationships? Why don't we learn to build more trade so we can increase jobs and increase the prosperity of Americans? These are the things that we need to do. This is the purpose of this channel, is to help people see a better side of learning to work with China. So the next time somebody tells you that the rise of China is the biggest threat in the world, I think we need to look at it from a different perspective. Forget the rise of China. Let's focus on the collapse of America that is literally taking place right now. Everybody, I want to thank you so much for listening to me. As you saw in today's video, I was very passionate and I was speaking from my heart because, again, I love America. It is my home country, but my heart is broken. It is very sad because it's just amazing how clueless some of our U.S. politicians are about the global economy that we live in. China is not our greatest enemy. China is a potential greatest partner for us if we can actually learn to work together. And I'll say it again, when the United States learns to work with China, the entire world is going to win.